Good morning, Facebook families. I'm gonna just be honest. I stole this idea from someone else. He read some of these on his page. It's Christian Hole. And I found them so funny that I looked it up and I found some new ones. And it's Instagram live from snack time, all together, live from snack time. And it's things that kids say that their parents are posting. And I wanted to read a couple of them. And honestly, the first one I read made me snort because it sounds like me as a child, or maybe me now. And it's from May May, who's 4 years old, who asks, "Why do people like me so much when I hate everyone?" Why do you like me so much? I really don't hate people, but I don't like a lot of people. I don't like people in general. The sun is killing me this morning. Anyway, yeah. Why do people like me so much when I hate everyone? You go, May May. And I haven't read the rest of these. I just wanted to read one. And so the rest of these will be as much of a surprise to me as it is to you. So the next one is from Evie, who is 5 years old. "Everyone is born with a sparkle in their eye, but sometimes you just can't see it." Very true, Evie. Caden, who's 6 years old, says, "I want to marry cheese when I grow up." I wanted to marry cheese too, but now I'm allergic to it. Go figure. Lou. What a name for a 4-year-old. Lou. Lou says, "You need to tell me if any trouble comes. I'm serious. Like any ladybugs or bees, you call me. My phone is pretend, but I'll answer you." I like Lou. He's going to grow up to be a good person. You just call me. Maya, 5 years old, says, "Lunch was so good today that I ate it in slow motion." Why haven't I ever thought of that? I mean, if your lunch is so good, you usually are just snorting it in like a pig at the trough. But, I mean, if we eat it in slow motion, we could enjoy it longer. Wow, Maya, you're smart. All right, Indigo, 4 years old. "I will scratch your back if you just stop talking to me." Oh, I will scratch your back if you just stop talking to me. Okay. Lily, who's 5 years old, says, "I only have 1 minute of patience in my brain, and then I've run out." Me too. Run slap out. A child named Anonymous is 6 years old, says, "I don't like morning people, or mornings, or people." Same. Oh, another child named Anonymous, who is 8 years old, says, "No, I said I was shaking my sass." Totally different, Mom. Gosh. Oh, another child named Anonymous. This is pretty popular. "I'm going back to bed so I don't have to deal with any hard stuff today." He's 7. What kind of hard stuff is he dealing with? Marcus, who's 9 years old, says, "You spoiled my dream. I was about to eat ice cream." Oh, dude. And then you try to go back to sleep and that ice cream never comes. I have that dream all the time. Zoe, who has 2 little dots over her E, is 8 years old, says, "Tomorrow I want to come home, nap, and wake when dinner's ready." Same, Zoe. Same. Except I'm the only one that cooks dinner, so. Anonymous, another anonymous child. "While wearing a mask, I'm smiling on the inside." Good for you, Anonymous. Jolie, who's 6 years old, says, Mommy, how many years are in July? I ask that all the time. July and August have got to be 12 years long. Yeah. And January and February. Yeah. Gaia, G-A-I-A, Gaia, 4 years old, says, butter is like sunscreen for toast. Okay. Josephine, who's 3 years old, says, you just lay there on the floor and I'll feed you pancakes until you're full. Wow. I like Josephine. Robert, who's 6 years old, says, how much does it cost to eat pizza in a limousine? This after he was staring off into the distance for a minute. The thoughts of a 6-year-old named Robert. Mateo, I love that name. Mateo, who is 4 years old, says, I'm just the best dog petter there ever was. Me too, Mateo. I just changed your name to Mayo. Not like mayonnaise. I'm sorry. Anonymous, another child named Anonymous, says, I don't want diet food. I want party food. Don't we all, little Anonymous? Asher, who's 7 years old, says, when you look in the mirror, you see yourself. But when I look at you, I see a hot dog. Oh. Emma, who's 4 years old, and this should say Kim, who is 4 years old, because my best friend Kim Wigand says this. It's hot. I need to put on short sleeve pants. Yeah. Freya, F-R-E-Y-A, who's 3 years old, says, my hands are burning. They're burning for snacks. Where do these kids come from? Emma, who's 8 years old, says, your birthday is July 15th? OMG, that's the same day the milk expires. Wow. Hadley, who's 4 years old, like that name too, Hadley. Sometimes you just always need your mom. Oh, that's so true, Hadley. So true. Jackson, who's 5 years old, says, when this virus is over, I'm so going to Legoland. Good for you, Jackson. Anonymous, 7 years old, says, I like Fruit Loops, waffles, and napping. Me too. Winnie, like the poo, is 4 years old, and she says, I can bring out the trash. I will do anything to get out of the house these days. Me too. Oh, Anonymous, 10 years old, says, do you want to sit alone together? Yeah, let's sit alone together. Elliot, who's 6 years old, says, what is the reasoning for foreheads? I don't know. Anonymous, who's 7 years old, says, I'm feeling kind of snackish. That's going to be my new favorite line. I'm feeling kind of snackish. Matilda, who's 7 years old, says, Dad, of all my parents, you're one of my favorites. Well, I should hope so. Unless you're in a cult and have 20 parents, and then I can't help you any. Anonymous, who's 10 years old, says, I'm the cuter version of my dad. Anonymous, who's 6 years old, says, can we hurry up this walk? My legs are hungry. Isaac, who's 6 years old, says, I was 6, but now I'm 40. I've met kids like that. They were just 6 yesterday, and now they're grown. Anonymous, who's 5 years old, says, sometimes when I can't remember what I was going to say, I just say, I love you. I love you. Yeah, I like that. Jude, hey Jude, Joud, who's 5 years old, says, I think the life in my head is better than real life. I would have to agree. Jude. Charlotte, who's 5 years old, says, I just feel like ice cream would help. It always helps, Charlotte, even when you're 55 years old, yeah. Frankie Rose, what a cute name, who's 4 years old, says, Band-Aids are like tiny hugs for your sores. Aww. Anonymous, who's 11 years old, says, I'm very indoorsy. Same. Jack, who's 6 years old, says, I need another water bottle, not to drink, but to cry in. Oh, poor Jack. Anonymous, who's 9 years old, says, you be the pandemic princess and I'll be the quarantine queen. Where do they come up with this stuff? AJ, who's three years old, says, I need a bread break. Anonymous, who's 5 years old, says, I don't know everything, but I do know some of it. Same. Everly, who's 8 years old, says, when COVID is over, you're driving me to everyone I know's house, and I'm just going to hug them all. Oh, Everly, I love you. Evelyn, who's 7 years old, says, Mom, it's called cantaloping. You go somewhere far away and have a really fast wedding, and then you're married forever. And then you eat cantaloupe because you're cantaloping. Harper, who's 9 years old, says, sometimes I wish I were an only child, but then I remember these are the people I play with. Oh, bless you. Addison, who's 5 years old, says, I don't want to tell you about my day. I've already lived it. Yeah, I don't want to discuss it again. If it was a bad day, I don't want to discuss it again. Please don't make me relive that. Jack, who's 6 years old, says, I know you told me, but I just can't keep it in my brain. Oh, that is so me, Jack. My dad tells me stuff because he thinks I'm going to remember it. And I'm like, I really don't remember stuff like that. I can remember, my first best friend's phone number from 50 years ago, but I can't remember that you said to bring something to your house. My brain doesn't function like that. True story. Archie, who's 4 years old, says, while eating pizza, my body is telling me that I'm full, but my love heart is telling me to keep eating. Eat it in slow motion, like that other kid does. Michael, who's 3 years old, says, I'm all out of hugs today. 5 minutes later, actually, I made some more. Want one? Yes, Michael, we do. Miles, who's 4 years old, says, the blanket is my pants, Mom. Anonymous, who's 8 years old, says, I don't have a watch, but I know it's snack o'clock. And I'm feeling very snacky. Chris, who's 5 years old, on a class Zoom, says to all his Zoom mates, hey guys, do any of your stuffed animals have last names? I did good to give them first names. All right. House 1, choose your quarantine house. House 1, 8 years old, says, I love cheese. It's in my DNA. 3-year-old says, I can't sleep because I don't know what the dinosaurs eat. 7-year-old says, sometimes when my feelings are big, I like to sing them. Okay, my quarantine house is between I can't sleep because I don't know what dinosaurs eat, and sometimes when my feelings are big, I like to sing them. Both of those are true for me. Another child named Anonymous at 5 years old says, when I grow up, I want to be like my mom. Well, if you want to know what my mom was like, this is it. Chelsea, mom of Carson, who's 2, I am your best friend, except when you put your pull-up in the washing machine. Kellen, who's 8 years old, says, I miss people being in my personal bubble. Aww. Finn, who's 4 years old, says, my brain doesn't feel like thinking today. Same, Finn. Anonymous, who's 5-year-old, says, soap is like lava for germs. So true, Anonymous, so true. Anonymous, whose age is unknown, they're really stretching it, says on their teacher, she's everything that's good. I hope she knows how much I love her and miss her. Aww. Anonymous, who's 7 years old, says, I wish I could end this virus so I can hug my bestie. Aww. I hug my bestie. I don't care. Whatever. Anonymous, who's 8-year-old, says, I tried again, but I still don't like you. I think we're going to end it on that one because that's a perfect ending. So, I tried. I still don't like you. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's fine. All right, well, time for me to start work. So, I'll see y'all on the next Tracy Tries. And please share love, hope, peace, and a smile with someone. And remember that I love you and Jesus loves you. And feel free to reach out to me if you ever need something or someone to talk to. And I'll see you on the next Tracy Tries.